WWE fans, get ready. Things are heating up like never before, and the tribal chief has finally broken his silence. Roman Reigns has delivered a deeply personal and chilling message to Solo Sikoa after the shocking betrayal by Jacob Fatu at Money in the Bank, a moment that left the entire wrestling world stunned and reeling. This isn't just any family drama, it's a full-blown bloodline crisis, and it's unfolding before our eyes in the most explosive way possible. During what was supposed to be Solo Sikoa's breakthrough moment, everything fell apart when Jacob Fatu, his own flesh and blood, turned against him in a devastating act of betrayal. Just when Solo was on the brink of securing his very first Money in the Bank briefcase, the brutal ambush handed the victory to none other than his fiercest rival, Seth Rollins. The betrayal didn't just cost Solo the match. It may have cost him his standing, his confidence, and his future within the WWE. And yet, in the midst of the fallout, a powerful voice emerged, the only voice that mattered. In an unexpected backstage segment aired on SmackDown, Roman Reigns appeared via the Titantron, his face cold and unreadable. The entire arena fell silent in anticipation. His voice was calm but carried a terrifying intensity. He looked directly into the camera, addressing Solo with words that sent chills down the spines of everyone watching. He acknowledged the betrayal, calling it the lowest form of weakness, a family member turning on his own. But then came the line that changed everything. With steely resolve, Roman warned that this wasn't the end. Far from it. His cryptic yet forceful words hinted at a storm brewing within the bloodline, and Solo's clenched fists and burning gaze made one thing clear: he had been reignited. This wasn't just a show of support. Roman's message was a game-changer. It left fans questioning everything. Was it a promise to stand by Solo, or a veiled threat aimed at Jacob Fatu? Was it a warning to Paul Heyman and his increasingly powerful faction? Or was it an ominous signal that Roman Reigns is preparing for an earth-shattering return to reclaim control and settle the score? Backstage reactions only fueled the speculation. Paul Heyman, visibly shaken, was caught immediately reaching for his phone as soon as Roman's message aired. Is he worried that the tribal chief is planning an unexpected comeback that could disrupt everything Heyman has built in Roman's absence? Meanwhile, Seth Rollins, now holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, may find his victory short-lived if Roman decides to throw his weight behind Solo. What makes this twist even more fascinating is what Roman didn't say. He made no mention of Seth Rollins, his faction, or the Money in the Bank briefcase. Instead, he focused entirely on the betrayal within the family. This wasn't about championships. This was about loyalty, legacy, and the sacred bond of the bloodline. It proves, once and for all, where Roman's true priorities lie, and that's with family, for better or worse. This chapter of the Bloodline saga is turning into its most emotionally charged and unpredictable yet. Roman Reigns didn't just speak. He sent a signal to the entire WWE universe. His message wasn't just meant for Solo, or even for Jacob Fatu. It was a warning to everyone watching. When the tribal chief makes a promise, you'd better believe it's going to shake the foundations of WWE. So the big question remains: will Roman return to stand beside Solo and take revenge on Jacob Fatu? Could Seth Rollins' reign as Mr. Money in the Bank be in danger before it even begins? And what does this mean for the future of the Bloodline, a faction that once ruled WWE with an iron fist? Stay tuned, because this war is far from over. When Roman Reigns speaks, the entire wrestling world listens. Make sure you don't miss a second of what's coming. Turn on those notifications, hit that like button, and subscribe, because the most intense chapter of the Bloodline story is just getting started. WWE fans, brace yourselves, because the tribal chief has finally spoken, and his words have sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. Roman Reigns, the undisputed head of the table and the most dominant force in WWE history, has delivered a deeply personal, emotionally charged message to Solo Sikoa in the aftermath of an unthinkable betrayal. The events that unfolded at Money in the Bank have changed everything, and now the entire WWE universe is holding its breath as the Bloodline saga enters a brand new, high-stakes chapter that promises to be more explosive than anything we've seen before. Let's rewind to the moment that shattered expectations. Solo Sikoa stood on the cusp of greatness, just inches away from seizing his first-ever Money in the Bank victory, a moment that could have solidified his rise as a top-tier WWE superstar. But that dream came crashing down in brutal fashion when Jacob Fatu, his own blood, his supposed brother in arms, ambushed him in the most vicious and unexpected betrayal of the year. Fatu's attack blindsided everyone, especially Solo, and left the door wide open for Seth Rollins to claim the MITB briefcase. With that, Solo's hopes were crushed, and the future of the bloodline was thrown into chaos. The betrayal wasn't just a strategic loss, it was a deeply personal blow. For a faction built on family, loyalty, and trust, Jacob Fatu's actions were nothing short of sacrilege. In one brutal moment, he didn't just cost Solo the match, he ripped apart the foundation of a brotherhood that once seemed unbreakable. As the dust settled and the stunned crowd tried to make sense of what had happened, the silence from Roman Reigns was deafening. Where was the tribal chief? What would he say? Would he support Solo, condemn Fatu, or stay neutral in the unfolding drama? Those questions were finally answered on SmackDown, in a tense backstage segment that left fans speechless. The arena lights dimmed, and the screen lit up with the unmistakable image of Roman Reigns on the Titantron. His expression was unreadable, cold, and calm, but there was something menacing behind his eyes. The crowd went silent as he began to speak in a low, deliberate tone that immediately captured everyone's attention. Every word felt heavy, loaded with meaning and intent. "Solo," Roman said, his voice cutting through the silence like a knife. "I saw what happened. And let me tell you something, family turning on family, that's the weakest move there is." As the camera zoomed in, the fire in Roman's eyes became undeniable. This wasn't just disappointment. This was a warning. You listen to me and listen good. This isn't over. Not even close. And just like that, the screen went black. But the impact of those words lingered. In the ring, Solo Sikoa stood frozen, fists clenched, eyes burning with renewed purpose. Something had changed. Something had been set in motion. Roman Reigns hadn't just acknowledged the betrayal, he had thrown down the gauntlet. And now, the entire WWE landscape is trembling with anticipation about what comes next. What made Roman's message even more powerful was what he didn't say. There was no mention of Seth Rollins. No talk of the MITB briefcase. No strategic breakdown or focus on the larger faction wars brewing backstage. Roman's focus was purely and intensely on the family, on the betrayal, on the consequences, and on restoring the legacy of the bloodline. It was a chilling reminder of where his true allegiance lies. To him, titles and trophies come and go, but family is everything. And when that family bond is broken, the response